Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you, and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur shield chopper. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent, digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day, such as myself. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, listen, I want you to be part of the show. I want you to be part of the conversation. So find me on the Twitter at Colt S. Taylor, and now on Twitch at Colt S. Taylor, where, my friends, if you follow, you'll be alerted when I record this show. I usually record it on Fridays and broadcast on Saturdays, so you can be seeing a live recording behind the scenes of all the well-oiled machine we have over here at twitch.tv/Colt S. Taylor. And then, occasionally, I play video games. So, you can, it's a Twitch channel. That's what happens. So, there. And, of course, if you've missed the broadcast, which happens from time to time, you can watch you can listen to the podcast version of the show at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. And then finally, you can get all of your Colt Sebastian Taylor needs at ColtSebastianTaylor.com, which I should probably update this weekend. And I say that every single week. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, some sad news, unfortunately. Actress Heche is in dire condition in the hospital after being involved in a car accident earlier this week. She basically plowed into a garage, caught on fire. The garage caught on fire. Her car caught on fire. She was in the car. It took firefighters about 45 minutes to get her out of there. They took her to a hospital, obviously, and from there she has slipped into a coma. So she was stable to critical, and critical now to dire conditions. According to the latest news, doctors do not expect her to survive the car crash, unfortunately. Still kicking at the time of this broadcast recording, but does not look good. According to the doctor, she has suffered severe anoxic brain injury and remains in a coma. She had severe pulmonary injury and apparently is on a ventilator. Unfortunately, this appears that this is due to perhaps some alcohol and cocaine. Police reporting that she was under the influence at the time of the crash. Police confirm that she was hit a car right before she had this wreck. There was also fentanyl in her system. However, police are not sure whether that was in her system at the time of the accident. That could have been in her system as paramedics tried to stabilize her to manage her pain as she was getting to the hospital. Now, when this happened, they covered it, like person crashes in a garage and caught on fire, and they didn't know who it was at the time. But they were wheeling out someone, and this person popped up and was trying to struggle with firefighters, and she was obviously injured and put her in the ambulance. It was a little rough footage to watch, knowing who it was and whatnot, or anyone really. But she is currently in a coma, unfortunately, and she is not expected to survive. She shares a 20-year-old son with ex-husband Coley LaFoon and a 13-year-old son with James Tupper, who she met with Men in Trees co-star. So Heche was, I would say, I guess the top of her fame in the 90s when she was publicly dating Ellen DeGeneres. That was a big thing. She does, however, feel like that sort of openness at the time blacklisted her from Hollywood. So she really didn't do anything for 10 years after she came out and whatnot. But she had barely been having a rough time with substance abuses over the past few years, and unfortunately, it does look like that contributed to the accident. Now, Anne Heche, best known for the movies The Juror, Donnie Brasco, Volcano, Wag the Dog. These are the 90s and whatnot. John Q. And then she had some movies here and there throughout the last few years. She was on Another World from 1987 to 1981 soap opera. She was pretty I believe got an award for that one. She was in the show Hung from 2009-2011, lead role. Let's see here. And she also was in Chicago PD for 2 years as a reoccurring role and whatnot. So, still they're trying their best to save her life, but again, does not appear that she will survive this accident. Probably have more news for her next week. But Anne Heche currently in dire condition in the hospital after a car wreck earlier this week. Moving along in entertainment news, also sad news this week when Olivia NewtonJohn passed away at the age of, I believe, 73 after battling breast cancer for almost a decade, really. Best known for her roles as Sandy in Grease. She was a Grammy Award-winning singer. But she did pass away this week due to breast cancer, which she was an advocate for the last decade or so, raising a lot of money for research and whatnot. This was the third time she had cancer, diagnosed in 2017. Her first cancer diagnosis came in 1992, so actually several decades of dealing with this. And the doctors found cancer again in 2013, after a car accident. In a 2018 interview with Australia's Channel 7, asked that she was scared with her third diagnosis, she said, "I'd be lying if I said I'd never go there. There are moments. I'm human. If I'm allowed myself to go there, I could easily create that big fear, but my husband's always there. He's always there to support me. I believe I will win it over. That's my goal." Born in 1948, she was born in Cambridge, England, then moved to Australia when she was 5. Was a singer growing up, entered a talent show. At 16, they sent her to England when she decided to drop out of high school and perform full-time. Her first hit came as a cover of Bob Dylan's If Not For You in 1971, which was number 25 on the Billboard's Hot 100, and kind of popped her into stardom. Of course, massively successful movie Grease in 1978. The album, which obviously she's featured on, was certified more than 8 times platinum. Hopelessly Devoted to You received a Oscar nomination for Best Original Song in 1979, as well as her duets with John Travolta, You're the One I Want and Summer Nights. They are continue to be multi-generational favorites throughout the years. Who hasn't seen Grease? Even if you don't like Grease, who hasn't seen Grease? Right? No. So she continued to sing for her entire life, really. That pretty much was her job. She had several other top Billboard hits, including Twist of Fate, Make a Move on Me, and The Best of Me. Let's see here. What other songs was she best known for? Everyone knows the songs from Grease and whatnot. Here we are. I'm going to give a list here. Here we are. She won her signature solo recording, including Record of the Year Grammy winner, I Honestly Love You, Physical, that's a very popular one, If Not For You, Banks of the Ohio, Let Me Be There, If I Love You, Let Me Know, Have You Ever Been Mellow, Sam, Hopelessly Devoted to You, A Little More Love, and then Xanadu, which apparently wasn't that great. Never watched that one. She's also well known for being an environmental and animal rights activist. So with her passing, she got a lot of tributes, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, because she was a citizen of Australia, Delta Goodrem, Elton John, Nicole Kidman, Kylie Minogue, Barbara Streisand, Frank Valli, and of course, John Travolta. According, John Travolta posted on Instagram a tribute to her saying, "My dearest Olivia, you made all of our lives so much better. Your impact was incredible. I love you so much. We'll see you down the road, and we will be together again. Yours from the first moment I saw you in forever. Your Danny, John." So, very touching. So, Olivia Newton-John passing away this week at the age of 73 due to breast cancer. Do yourself a favor. Watch yourself a little Grease this weekend. She was an incredible talent. Next up, my friends, we go to Montreal, Canada for a Canadian Pride Parade. Now, listen, before I go off on this, let me get on to a slight tangent here. Pride Month was June. Pride parades celebrate LGBTQ plus communities. And I occasionally hear from folks, they're like, hey, you know what? How come the military don't get parades? Well, they do. There's Veterans Day, Memorial Day. All right. Well, how come the military don't get themselves a Military Appreciation Month? Huh? That's who we should be appreciating. Well, fun fact, in 1999, the Congress designated May as National Military Appreciation Month. So, military has a month. It's May. Maybe they don't need parades to be appreciated or whatnot, since they have a long history of not being discriminated against. Just saying. So next time someone says to you, "Hey, how come the military doesn't have their own parades?" They do. And how come military doesn't have their own month of appreciation and highlight? They do. So, put together your organization. Hey, I want the military to march down the street. I mean, they kind of do it in like dictatorships, but I'm sure this won't be weird whatsoever. Anyways, that just always bothers me when folks get off on that sort of, they throw out the veteran card. They're like, they do have these things. They just, maybe they don't need things as much as you think they do. Maybe they don't need that parade. Or if they do, organize one. But speaking of organization, the Pride Parade in Montreal was canceled last weekend. You're probably like, why was it canceled? Was it threats? Was it some sort of public display of obscenity that the people of Montreal said no more? No, they forgot to hire people. Yes, the organizers of the Montreal Pride Parade had to cancel the parade hours before it was started when people realized they didn't hire anyone to, help with the parade, like security or things like that. You just can't say a parade starts at 8. You need a little bit of infrastructure. You need some people on the streets. And apparently no one did, and no one caught on to it. And then, wouldn't you know it, here comes the parade. Oh no, I guess we have to cancel. So it's actually a terrible thing. A lot of people vendors were ready to have their stuff out for people attending the parade. They need 100 security staff to manage the parade. And it's 100 people. It's not hard to hire 100 people. It's hard to hire 100 people and train them in 4 hours. Yeah, that's when they realized that they needed people. So I can only imagine that sort of meeting early in the morning. Everyone's in the command tent. Okay, great. We've got the roads shut down. Got it, boss. We've got the fences up to keep people off the streets. Got it, boss. Porta potties. Got it, boss. Okay. Vendors, they're ready to go. Okay. Security. Security? Guys, who hired security? I'm on porta potties. I'm on parade route. We are in trouble. So, obviously, a lot of people are a wee bit upset. And the directors may be, just maybe, kicked out. And they might have a new group of directors there next year who will be a wee bit more organized. So, my friends, just for the folks that feel like there should be veteran parades every day of the week in May to celebrate veterans in the military, here's just a little pro tip for you. You may want to have like a list of things you need to do, and hiring security is one of them, or you can't have a parade. So, hopefully, now listen, they haven't had it for 2 years, pandemic, so hard to organize things, they're back in the swing of things, so hopefully next year, Montreal will be able to get their act together and have their Pride Parade. But, I don't know. For me, kind of funny. Everything's set. Oh, we forgot one little thing. People. My friends, it's, like I say, it's always important to keep yourself organized. One person who I know is always organized, never has to cancel things due to a missed key part of the show, is my pal DC. And guess what? He has a show here. He has a show here on AWSM Radio. 3 shows, actually. I'm going to tell you all about them right now. First, Friday nights, it's DC Live in Effect at 9 p.m. You do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from South Florida. And then, on Saturdays, it's DC House Party Saturdays. Here, DC brings you his freestyling, DJing to the max. You, my friends, can have all the Miami vibe without actually having to go down to Miami. You want to listen to House Party Saturdays, because from the top clubs to the bars, DC will bring you the party. He'll bring the party to you. That's Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then finally, it's DC Live in Effect, once again, Sundays at 10 p.m. So, just to review, DC Live in Effect, Fridays at 9. DC House Party Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then DC Live in Effect, once again, Sundays, 10 p.m., only here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Next up, friends, continuing the entertainment news, DC, the DC Universe, Superman versus Batman, the character Flash has his own movie coming up here soon, starring Ezra Miller, and boy howdy, they got some issues. They got some big old issues. Holy moly. They are a smidge. They might be a lunatic. They just might be a lunatic. He has had a string of run-ins with the law. Some being arrested several times in Hawaii for assault, throwing chairs. He was charged in burglary in Vermont for stealing alcohol. There is a report that apparently he might be trying to start a cult, maybe? That there's a mother and daughter that follow him around, a family that is missing and whatnot. It is, yikes. Yikes. There is a lot going on there, and they need some help. They clearly need some help. Apparently his mother is now with him, trying to get him into some sort of help, therapy, inpatient, outpatient, who knows. But there's a lot of bad publicity around Ezra Miller, and he has a movie coming out now. He has a movie coming out here, The Flash. It's supposed to be a pretty big movie. $200 million have been spent. And it's supposed to take place like multiple universes and whatnot. And it's supposed to be Michael Keaton coming back as Batman for the first time in 30 years. Ben Affleck as a different version of Batman. It's supposed to be different versions of Batman. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman after 30 years. The movie's in a bit of a question now. So Warner Brothers is trying to figure out what to do with this movie. It's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem. It's a problem. Like, he is crazy. He's been charged with several crimes. He might be starting a cult. Might be a missing 18-year-old with him somewhere. He's all over the place, and Warner Brothers has this movie. So they have three possible choices here. First one is for him to give a lengthy interview to explain himself after getting some therapy and help. 2, this is what they're considering, go forward with the movie, but do not use him in any promotional stuff, like have no interviews, cut him out, throw him out to the cold, but like, hey, we got this movie. Yeah, you can't talk to Mr. Miller there. We're done with him. Or never release the movie. That's one of the options they are considering, is to take a $200 million hit and not release the movie. Crazy. This is just crazy talk. Now, a lot of people are giving Warner Brothers a very hard time about this because they pulled Batgirl, which was a $90 million movie, like never going to release that, and they're trying to release this movie, and Batgirl was like, people don't like it, and this movie's like, okay, even though the Ezra Miller has all these legal issues, we'll still release the movie. But boy, it is, to me, terrible that Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman, which to me, I want to see. The first movie gets bounced. Batgirl. Also, Brendan Fraser is supposed to be a big comeback movie, unfortunately. I still think someone's going to pony up some money and get that released. I hope they do. This movie, also supposed to feature a cameo from Michael Keaton, also may not be released. So, boy, oh boy. I hope he gets whatever help he needs, because this guy is spiraling out of control right now, and it's not a good trajectory. And they said, like, okay, well, what if we refilm the movie like they did with Kevin Spacey? He's in every scene. He's the main person in the scene. You'd have to do a completely new movie. You just can't pull, he just can't. So, anyways, hopefully he gets the help he needs. We get to see Michael Keaton as Batman, and this family that he's starting a cult with gets help as well. We'll see. I'll follow the story for you. Moving along, my friends, to science. Spiders. They're great for the environment, and chances are one is about at least 6 feet from you. Maybe one is on your shoulder right now. Don't look! It could be sleeping. Why? Because, that's the segue, scientists have been studying spiders to figure out, do they sleep? They do. In fact, they might sleep like we do. So when we sleep, obviously, we close our eyes. But many of us, or most restful, we enter an REM sleep. Rapid eye movement sleep. It's an active phase of sleep where the brain lights up with activity, and it's closely linked with dreaming. When people are dreaming, they generally have REM sleep. Other animals, like birds and other mammals, have REM-like sleep experience. But spiders, people don't study that. Why do people want to study spiders if they sleep? I don't know, but they've been doing it. The problem is, though, spiders don't have eyes like we do. As I said here, pointing to my eyes on this radio show. But I'm recording it on Twitch as well. So if you're watching it on Friday, as I record this, you see me pointing to my eyes. My lovely blue eyes right here. Lots of spiders don't have eyes that move. But jumping spiders can move their eyes about a wee bit. so they can be studied. They have 4 pairs of big eyes. So they were studied. Danielle Roessler at the University of Konstanz in Germany studied these jumping spiders, and according to her, it was the most unusual thing she has ever seen. So they studied these spiders, and wouldn't you know it, it looked like they had entered an REM-like sleep. They were definitely hanging upside down. They sleep by hanging off of their spider webs, and their little eyes would move while they were sleeping, and they were not active. They were sleeping, and they seemed to have an REM-like sleep. Now, spiders are very removed from us on the evolutionary tree. They're not chimpanzees. So while they're not sure they're dreaming or anything like that, it is an REM-like sleep. So they're not having dreams, but it's the same sort of mechanism. So they're very excited about this because they don't know too much about REM sleep. According to a researcher at the UCLA Center for Sleep, REM sleep is still, quote, still very much a black box. So they recognize it, but there's a lot of processes they don't quite fully understand. And finding it in a species that is not very out of what they were expecting to see. Because mammals, yeah, humans, sure, spiders, they weren't really expecting it, but they think they found an REM-like signs in it. So what this means is help them understand the whole process a little better. They're going to probably start looking at other animals. The key is being able to watch the eyes, because there's rapid eye movement. If your eyes don't move, it's hard to tell. But very interesting. Spiders, though. But listen, folks, if you see a spider, don't step on it. Scoop it up, put it outside. They're important parts of the ecosystem. They get flies, gnats, bugs, stuff like that. They generally are okay. And Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So, but anyway, spiders, do they sleep? Maybe, yeah, looks like it. Do they dream? Probably not, but maybe. Moving along, we go to Oregon and California, where there has been a massive fish die-off in the rivers along the Klamath River. According to the Karuk tribe on Saturday, tens of thousands of fish have died in the river due to wildfires. How's that, you ask? Is the water on fire? No. But a lot of wildfires nearby. There was heavy, heavy rain, torrential downpours, and the ash and soot and burnt embers polluted the water full of carbon. And you know how dirty burnt wood could be. So they had massive floods there, massive rain, blew all this gunk into the rivers and killed a bunch of fish. The extent of damage is not fully known, but fish were found dead 20 miles downstream and were swept there. It isn't impacting the entire river, but there are parts that have just been wiped out. According to officials at the camp, at the tribe, they said, "We think the impact is limited to 10 or 20 miles river in this region. The fish we're seeing in Happy Camp and below are floating downstream from the kill zone." So the McKinney Fire in the Klamath National Forest has burned about 90 square miles, wiped out the scenic hamlet, scenic hamlet of Klamath River, where 200 people lived. 4 people have died in the tiny community, and most of the homes have been completely destroyed. Once again, this is the result of the 22-year mega drought, driest spell in 1,200 years in this area, as I've said on a few previous stories. In fact, I got another story here coming up soon. The blaze in that area is 30% contained. They say that the fish kills a blow for the Karuk and Yurok tribes who have been fighting for years to protect the fragile populations of salmon along the Klamath River. They are revered by both tribes and are California's second largest Native American tribe. The federally endangered fish species have suffered from low flows in the Klamath River in recent years, and a parasite has also flourished in warmer, slower-moving water, killing large numbers of fish. They are, however, the federal government is going to demolish 4 dams on the lower river, the biggest demolition project in U.S. history, to help the migration of salmon. So they're going to, because obviously salmon can't go upstream if there's a dam there. So they're removing 4 dams on the river to help this species of salmon recover, which is very important to the Native Americans there. So hopefully that works. But yeah, big old mess out there. Forest fires affecting not only on land, but also the rivers. My friends, we have a lot of stress in today's world. I mean, my show today has not been, other than the spiders, it's been a little bit low key. But, if you need to relax during your commute home, you need to listen to the Rock Sessions, hosted by the beautiful, fantastic, just amazing Rocks. It's our drive time show here on AWSM Radio, and she will make sure your evening commute home is fun, and it features the hottest music on the charts and some other surprises in between. She will make it rock style, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. only here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Check it out. The Rock Sessions. It is rocktastic. No, don't say that to her. She won't like that. Moving along, friends, to a story I covered previously, also drought-related. Lake Mead, Hoover Dam. So they've been finding some bodies there as the reservoir shrinks during the 22-year mega drought, the lowest amount the water has had in there since its construction in the 1930s. It has more than 750 miles of shoreline and is the country's largest reservoir, Lake Mead. However, as the water begins to recede, they're finding remains. So far, they have found 4 sets of different remains between May and now. However, there is some thought that 2 sets of remains are from the same person. So there might only be 3 people. They found 4 parts. There's 4 sites where remains were found. But they're thinking perhaps 2 of these sets are for the same person. Their bodies have been there for decades, so there isn't much to go on, so to speak. So they have to do some DNA testing, and that does take time. So they have to, if there was more there, so to speak, DNA would be easier, but they've not have been a lot there, so DNA is a little hard to sort out and whatnot. Sort out. So they've been finding remains along Swim Beach, Cowville Bay, and some other location that I do not remember at this moment. But yeah, they're still working on it. They are kind of expecting. They're expecting some more. They would not be surprised if they would find more. And it's not surprising. Now, you should realize, again, Lake Mead is really, really shrinking. You should really look at some of these photos of how it was several years ago and how it is today. And some areas are they're just dry. Some areas are so low, there's no more water there. Some of these, more shallower branches of Lake Mead, it's just not there anymore. They're just swampy, gunky look with sometimes some bodies. So no one has been positively identified yet. There is some thought of who these people could be. Some families have come forward offering their DNA from family members to get tested to confirm who they are. We shall see. But as of yet, no positive identifications. Next up, folks, we go to streaming. Yes, the streaming wars is unfortunately probably coming to an end. Why? Because people are jacking up their prices. Usually, if there's lots of competition, prices are low, but competition is being less and less. Earlier this year, Netflix said it was introducing ads to increase its revenue, and now Disney Plus and Hulu are getting big price hikes, and Disney Plus gets an ad tier launch date. So the good news is that the current version of Disney Plus will remain the same. You know, if you're paying X amount of money a month for Disney Plus, you get to keep it. However, they will now include ads by the end of this year. So a lot of ad-free stuff, it will now have ads. And Hulu, which I believe Disney Plus and Hulu is the same company, they are updating their price structure for the next year, having subscription options, ad-free version versus an ads-supported version. Hulu has been doing this for quite a while, but now it's going to Disney Plus as well. And subscriptions for Hulu and ESPN Plus are also going up. During Thursday's earnings report this week, Disney revealed that it added 14 million customers to Disney Plus in its third quarter. So Disney Plus now has 152 million subscribers. However, that part of the company still lost money. Apparently, the operating loss increased to almost $1.1 billion due to production and programming costs. So, because they have this, which everyone likes, but they're losing $1 billion, so they're introducing ads. So, the new ad structure, the Disney Plus subscription with no ads, will be $10.99 a month, starting December 8th. And that's $3 more than what's currently. The annual charge will be $109.99 annually. And Disney plans to call this plan the Disney Plus Premium. The current version will still be $7.99 a month, but will be the basic version with ads. And then Hulu and ESPN Plus will also be jacked up. Hulu Premium, which is their ad-free version, will now be $14.99 a month, a $2 increase. And ESPN Plus will now be $9.99 a month instead of $6.99, and the yearly cost is $99.99 a year. My friends, listen, you like basketball, I'm sure you do, and there's one place to go for all things basketball. It's To the Rack with Mac, featuring our host, NBA expert Mac Daddy. He brings you a full hour of high-flying hoops expertise for all things NBA. Tune in Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and then at 10 p.m. it's What's Going On. What's Going On is our Fox affiliate sports show here, providing listeners with over 150 years of combined sports experience, hosted by Nate Brown and his crew. They have been a staple of Western New York sports for the past 2 decades. And boy howdy, they're moving national, and we got their show here at Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So, Wednesdays, 9 p.m., To the Rack with Mac, 10 p.m., What's Going On, right here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Remember, you can find me on the Twitter and now on the Twitch, which you can watch the live recording of the show at Colt S. Taylor. You can also find me on Cameo at Colt S. Taylor. And if you have missed, unfortunately, the broadcast of the show on AWSM Radio on the weekends, you can subscribe to the podcast version of the show at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. And sometimes those shows are a little bit longer. I might add a little extra into there. Just saying. So definitely worth a subscription. And of course, if you haven't already, bookmark ColtSebastianTaylor.com. Well, my friends, until next week, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.